Hey guys, Monique Leslie, Misfit Crafter here, and today I was just going to bring you a sort of as quick as possible tutorial on how to make these really cute little vintage looking Valentine hearts. And I will take you step by step through how I made these using my Cricut, which is not totally necessary. If you want to hand cut these, it's fine. It's faster on the Cricut. And I'll show you how I did a few things on the Cricut when selecting these. The important part is really just to have some sort of paper. You just want maybe some Distress Oxide ink, stamps, just to stamp some cute things on there. Water for sure. You want some sort of water in a spray bottle or however else you can get it, and some glue that can dry fairly quickly. This is art glitter glue. So it dries fairly quick, but it gives you still some time to move stuff around. Another thing you might want is a stylus. I end up using the 8 mil side, and maybe some little clampy guys to help hold the edges together during gluing time. But for the most part, it dries fast enough. All right, let's get started.
All right, so first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and choose our shape. I want a heart that's kind of rounded and much less pointy. So we're gonna have to go into our images instead of shapes, and we are just gonna go ahead and search for a heart. We'll go ahead and look for something that's just a little more rounded, not too pointy. Seems to be easier to go ahead and save and glue. So I found one. See if there's anything else here. Looks like might be the fastest and easy one, and I've got an idea to kind of use it. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're probably just going to go ahead and use this one. We're going to go ahead and add that to the canvas. Now what we're going to do is you can see there's like these little marks in there. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of those marks. And then we'll go ahead and do a little bit of editing. So I'm just going to go in here and click through these real quick. But basically we're going to move out that little shine mark. Now that that's all there, we can see it's still actually a hole in the heart. So we're going to go into our contour and just choose to take out that particular cut. And now we have a nice whole heart. So it's a whole piece. Now, what we'll want to do is size this a bit down. I usually want to do it about 4 inches wide or so, no bigger than that. So we'll get this down 4 inches wide and 3 and something inches in height. All right, so once we have that, we're going to go ahead and hit make it. We just need one heart, and then we're going to go ahead and just make as many as you want. You need 2 for each one heart. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put in 8 because I know it'll fit on a 12 by 12 nicely. And then here I'm just turning them because I know I can fit more on the page easily. So I'm just turning them so that they all fit on one single page instead of them being split into 2 pages. So all you need to do is turn them and then position them until they fit. If you go up to the menu, you can actually move them onto another mat. So I'm just moving each one. I'm going to go back and grab that other one and move that one as well. So just go up there, little menu, move object, choose the mat you want, and then just go ahead and move it. We're just going to move this down. And right here, if you don't catch it already, I made a critical mistake that I figure out later what in the world I did. Let's see if you caught it. So right here, we're going to go ahead and just load up our machine. We're going to choose our cardstock, and I did 80%. It's a little thick. If you look at the left bottom corner right here, I'm just loading up my paper, getting it in the machine. And right now I'm using a Maker 3. Right now it's just measuring the mat, and it's going to go ahead and examine the mat and prepare everything. And then it'll go ahead and start cutting for us. And it's usually pretty quick. This is the Maker 3. The Maker 3 cuts really fast. This is sped up just a tiny bit. This portion of the video is sped up twice, so it is going just a little bit faster. So I had to just record over this. Like I said, this is the first time using the Clipchamp from Microsoft. Don't know if I'm going to use it again because apparently there is not a voiceover feature on Clipchamp itself, which is weird to me. But yeah, so right here we go ahead and cut everything, cut perfect. We're just going to take that off. Have extra little corner, but I kind of like it. But right here you can see I'm like, what in the world? 2 of my pieces cut on top of each other. And basically what I figured out is when I move the one from the top to the bottom, it cut funny. And I'll go ahead and explain in a minute. But yeah, so right now I'm just saving my project just so I know I have a good shaped heart already. So I'm picking a collection to add it to so that I can use for later if I want to make more hearts.
Okay, so I figured out what happened here. Basically, when I had moved the other heart down from here to the bottom, I accidentally moved the wrong one, didn't pay attention, and I left that one up there. That's why these two cut on top of each other. So I was in a little bit of a hurry. But all I'm going to do is pop this guy back, and it's an easy way to just pop these right back off. It's not a big deal. I can use it for something else. I'll be missing like one heart for now, but we can always cut a lot more. All right, so now that I got them all cut out, and like I said, we're missing one. Ooh, it's kind of cold. I was gonna roll up my sleeves, but it's a little chilly. Okay, so we were able to at least we have about 3 sets at least, so that's a good part. So we'll get us started for now. We just have that one little guy and this one little guy, but it could always be a chunky, chunked out heart. It's almost perfect too. That's the funny part. But this could end up being like one of those hearts that's a little bit more chunked out or something like that. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so here's how we're gonna make these really cute hearts. So I'm just gonna pick a couple of pieces to go with each other. It doesn't really matter which one. So you're gonna be doing a lot of inking and stuff anyway. So I have 3 of them for now. It's fine. So what you're gonna need is just some glue and some water, particularly if you're going to be using cardstock. You're going to want to have some water to soften up these papers just a little bit. All right. And if you want something like a little edger, I'll just put that right there for right now. All right. And we are going to need our glitter and maybe some ink. So I'm doing this kind of all on the fly. All right, so now that I got them all cut out, and like I said, we're missing one. Ooh, it's kind of cold. I was gonna roll up my sleeves, but it's a little chilly. Okay, so we were able to at least we have about 3 sets at least, so that's a good part. So we'll get us started for now. We just have that one little guy and this one little guy, but it could always be a chunky, chunked out heart. It's almost perfect too. That's the funny part. But this could end up being like one of those hearts that's a little bit more chunked out or something like that. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so here's how we're gonna make these really cute hearts. So I'm just gonna pick a couple of pieces to go with each other. It doesn't really matter which one. So you're gonna be doing a lot of inking and stuff anyway. So I have 3 of them for now. It's fine. So what you're gonna need is just some glue and some water, particularly if you're going to be using cardstock. You're going to want to have some water to soften up these papers just a little bit. All right. And if you want something like a little edger, I'll just put that right there for right now. All right. And we are going to need our glitter and maybe some ink. So I'm doing this kind of all on the fly. So just so you know, all right, I think I'm gonna grab me some Distress Oxide because this has more of a black than brown. It's a blacky brown. So I'm thinking ground espresso. So it's a very dark brown. It's like black. Very, very almost black brown. So I'm getting ground espresso, and this is a Distress Oxide. I'm sorry, everything is upside down. Here's a Distress Oxide. Okay. These are just some little flower, like lotus stamps. Really strong. Okay, there you go. Forming on a giant stamping platform. And then what I want to get is a chunky glitter. And for this one, I think I'm going to use a silver chunky on this one because it's really cute. Definitely silver. Son playing his guitar. He didn't know I was going to make videos. So that's why you're hearing that. All right. So I'm actually going to spray these first. I think this is going to require voiceover. All right, so I was calibrating my machine today, so this is for my Cricut. I'm just going to use it since it's a wasted piece of paper now. We're just going to give these a spritz, both sides. just some water. This is just to make them a little more pliable. This will help when we need to glue. And no, we're not going to glue it while it's wet. Sorry, I'm laughing hard because I can hear my son. And I don't know if that's picking it up on camera. All right, so we're just going to ink this guy with our Distress Oxide. Get it nice and thick. So just remember, Distress Oxide will run if you wet it. And that's why I wet this before and not after. And just putting that little flower in the middle. And you can stamp it with like whatever you want. If you want to do, you know, Happy Valentine's or whatever, you can do that. If you want to use them strictly for Valentine, want them just some pretty heart gifts, you can just do it this way. All right, so I can see nicely stamped out, really cute. Outline on camera looks like huge and thick, almost like I marked it with pen, but I didn't. It's just really defined. All right, so here's that one. Okay, so we're gonna put these aside and let those dry for a sec. Let me get the other two. Let them get wet too. And not a lot, it's just a very, very light spread. Okay, I'm gonna use the other flour. I don't know why these are so thick on here. Put that way. I don't know why these are so strong. Okay, we're just gonna add ink to these. Super simple. Making sure I'm getting that middle really good. There we go. And then sometimes, like if I'm not sure, I'm gonna stamp it funny. I clean off right here if I get ink on it. So I make sure it won't transfer just in case, especially since it's kind of curling up. This way it doesn't transfer any of that on there. I'm just stamping that down really nice and hard. And the cool thing is because, and I'm pushing kind of down on the middle right there to try to get that middle. But because I sprayed these with water a little bit before too, it's not going to get like a super sharp, I guess, stamp because it's going to bleed just ever so slightly where you'll barely notice it though. All right, so that's that one. And I think for these, okay, so I found this one. It's one of those ones used to have in the little dollar spot or whatever at Michael's. It just says Be Mine. I think that might be cute. We'll try it. This one has apparently never been stamped before, so I'm really smushing this in there right now to make sure that I get all the little bits. If you haven't used a stamp before, make sure like you do a test just in case to make sure that you're getting ink on there, and then just to make sure it's going to stamp good. Yeah, looks pretty good. All right. Yeah, looks kind of cute. I like that. He's supposed to be cleaning right now. I think he's talking to my mom. There we go. All right, those are nice and cute. I'm thinking I don't think I wet the back. That's why they're curling only one way. And it's okay to wet them after. Just don't want to wet the front because I don't want it to smear too much. But I do want it to be a little pliable. All right, so I'm just going to leave that. Okay, so these are getting there. They're not fully dry yet, and I don't want them to be fully dry yet anyway, so that's okay. All right. Excuse. Just move these guys out of the way. Okay. Here's where my mouse pad's going to come in handy. Okay. So here's why what I do is I put them both on top of each other. Well, you don't even have to put them both on top of each other. You can do it this way. But I'm curling out this edge. And you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it seem to help when I put these together. I'm curling out just the edge with a bigger ball. This one is saying it's 8 millimeter ball. And I'm just curling out this edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to flatten out that edge a little. Okay, we're going to do that to all of these because they should still be fairly damp. We just gave it a couple of spritzes. Maybe we can handle drying them if you have yourself any kind of a heat gun or blow dryer, even if you want to dry those out. This one has a little bit of that epoxy edge. So it's like that wet emboss little thing right there. Might even be cute. Put a little design and wet emboss on the side, or if you want to emboss this part. Let's get this back where it belongs. That out of the way. Actually, I'm going to keep this for a little bit longer. All right, so we have those. Those will finish drying up. These are still kind of wet. We'll let those finish drying up. We'll start with these guys. They're fairly dry now. Use a little more dryness, but it's not too bad. Actually, these felt drier than all of these. I didn't spray them that much, so we're going to do these ones first. Okay, so here's where this guy comes in handy. And this is the art glitter glue. Get this just to clean it off a little. Why there's glue leaking? I think somebody must have squished it at some point. Art glitter glue dries fast, so I tend to always keep something here for it. I think I know. I think my daughter's to blame for this. There you go. Okay, so all we're going to do is around this section, you can see where we have put the line of where it's going to be glued together. And then just below that line, I'm going to put a nice line of glue. For your heart. Okay. That's okay if it's not perfect. You're going to need a good amount of glue, depending on how much glitter you really want on there. So it's okay. All right, we're going to put these just over here for a second. And this has never been punched through. I'm probably not going to punch it through now. Not a big deal. I'm just going to pour that all in there. Make sure I get a nice chunk. If you don't like glitter, this isn't for you. And I just gently press it down, just enough to get it stuck, but not spread out too much. I might as well do this right now. Just dump that in there. If you want, you can shape some of this glue how you want. No big deals. That one speck that I knew was gonna get a bit of glue, that's okay. There's one. Get all that glitter back in. Okay, have all this wonderful glitter. All right, have that cleaned off. All right, so now we left these drying for a little bit. Still not completely dry, but that's okay. All right, now that we've had them drying for a little while, they're pretty much dry. They've been sitting here for a little while now. Hope you liked all that speed up in between. Sorry about that, but I don't want to make it too long, sit here me doing each one, so I kind of sped up through the middle. Now, like I said, most of them are, or they're all pretty dry now. So if you wanted to right here, you could go ahead and ink up your edges now. You can ink them up later. I like to ink them later so that way if there's anything like showing through on the edges after I glue them, the ink will cover them for me. Now, one thing that I did want to try as well is, I apologize for hitting this. I should have grabbed this before. Is I just wanted to see how these would like maybe get with some little water since I was using the distress. I'm just going to pour some little bit of water right here on the table. My table is basically covered with a vinyl sticker, um, so it makes it easier just to wet straight on here without really caring if it damages anything. But I thought it'd be good to kind of just see if I could pull some of that ink, see how well it would pull. I wanted to try that just to give it a little bit of a more aged look. Thought it'd be something cool. I don't even know if like maybe I sprayed it. Just something I thought I'd try real quick so you guys could see how that might look. I kind of like it. Just giving it a nice little more vintagey feeling. So again, this is the ground espresso distress oxide. So that's kind of cool. So just give it a little more depth in the middle right there. So you could do that. You could do that before. You could do that after. All right, so now it's the gluing part and the putting together the insides, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put each one of these aside while we work on each one individually. Okay, so we'll try on this one first. And basically, if you want, just go around this edge and pull up a little bit where you may have already used stylus to curl the edges. If not, just with your finger, go up there and pull the edges. And don't worry about it looking all messy. That's the whole point. To look a little old, vintagey, grungy. So let it happen. Some of the glitter will fall off. That's okay. Like if you truly don't want to have glitter fall off, you can always spray them after if you want it to with some like matte acrylic. So all I'm going to do simply is to go around here and put that glue all on the corner edges. Not too thick, but you also don't want a super thin line either. So we're just going to go all along that edge, all the way through. Make sure we got it covered. And you can simply, on the inside, you can put whatever you want on there. I just grabbed a few cotton balls here because they were close. So just real cotton balls. You can put fluff, you can put tissues, more crumpled up paper, paper shreds. It's a great way to use like your cut papers that you don't know what to do with and it's just little pieces. Get it and shred it up a lot if you want to and make yourself like a little paper shred stuffing. Um, but this is just what I had right here. So I just grabbing one of those. And I notice it always seems to be about 1.5 cotton balls. And these are like Target cotton balls where I always get them from. And this is like the 100% cotton balls. But I'm just shoving that in the middle. And then I'm going to come in here Lay that right on top and just start pressing that edge together. And I know they're not aligned quite yet, and that's okay. You can go back in and fix it and just press that edge together. Don't worry, you're gonna get glue all over the place. Fine. You do just want to make sure that you're using a glue that dries fairly quickly. You already see these are stuck. So you want it to dry fairly quickly so that you're not having to hold them down forever. If you don't have a glue that dries too quickly, then you might want to use some sort of clips or something in the middles. And what I do is one side, kind of pick sort of what's going to be your front, I guess. I'm trying to figure out which one has the least amount of white showing. And I use that to pull up on like that. And it kind of makes it look a little ruffled and cute. It's this middle part right here. It always gets me. But there they are, nice and stuffed and puffy. And it's just a little puffy, not a lot puffy, just a little bit. And you can do more stuffing, less stuffing. If you want to, you can always stuff it like a more traditional way where you close up all the parts first as much as possible, leave a little part open, and then shove it in there. It does make it a little bit more of a different type of puffy. Um, but I just kind of mess with it and push it around a little bit to make sure the puff is there. Like it. All right. This one little edge doesn't want to seem to close. I might have missed the glue there a little. All right. Go. I'll go ahead and leave that one there just to dry. Okay, look at the other one. So I'll show you the other way. So one thing you can do is give it just another little spritz before closing it up, but try only to get the middle to get it more pliable. Because right now they're wanting to turn in. So I'm just kind of pushing them out a little bit more, but pulling up that edge. Okay, and then we're going to go along that edge again, glue it up. You want to put a ton because you don't want it to take forever to dry, but you don't want to put too little where it dries too fast before you can get anything in there. All right, so this time I'm just putting a little at the bottom because that's always the hardest to like push it into. I actually think the bottom is going to be what I do last. So I'll put a little bit, just a little right here. I'm going to come in here and close up this top edge first this time, just like that. This top corner, this top middle always seems to be the part that wants to pop up. Do that. Then I'm going to go in here. It's all right if I'm getting glue on it. But if you want it to be puffier, get in here and really shove in there. Like I said, that's the part that always wants to pop up though, right in the middle. So if you want, while that part's happening, just grab yourself a little clamp of some kind. Hold that one middle. That's the one part, like I said, for some reason, always wants to pop open. And then go ahead and finish closing the rest of it up. That way you get more of a puff. Pulling that up. You really don't have to leave it on there too long. It should hold close. That part right there. Always. So sometimes I'll leave a little clamp just on that one area. The rest are pretty sealed tightly now. I'll put that one, leave that one there for right now. And last one. Grab myself another clamp there. I love these little Daiso clown, little like they're supposed to be clothes pins, but they have like little My Melodies on them. So cute. Got those from Daiso. All right, so we're gonna leave those. Close that glue back up. I said the glitter will never stop now. But now I'm gonna go in here and just kind of pull those up. Like I said, if you want to, you can rough up your edges a little after. This is a little edging tool from Tim Holtz, and it's basically made to rough up edges. It's round, and in the inside of these little slits is is I can't think of the word is a little blade. So when you put your paper between it right here, it'll give you a nice little roughed up edge along here. That's kind of cool. I'm just using it to kind of rough up those edges a little bit. It also helps so like if there's any glue sticking out, you don't end up with like an ugly shiny part of the glue. You don't have to do the whole thing. Like I like sometimes just to take it out of the little chunky edge part, not the whole thing. I'm only going to do it here and there wherever it takes nicely. All right, I have all that pulled up now. And if you want to, before you like finish sealing them up, you can add like a little piece of string right there so that you can hang it up instead, however you want. Now what I want to do is just add a little bit of ink to my edges using the Distress Oxide again. This is a little board I made to hold my Distress Oxide ink little dabbers. So it's just a canvas with little dots, Velcro dots, and it holds them, and then I put the little labels. So when I need it, I can find it and just keep reusing it. And I only have one each for um, the larger ink pads because the little minis, I just keep the pad like in the mini because it kind of holds it in there. I'll do a video about this later. But now I'm just gonna ink up my edges. So I'll probably be sped up as well. After this, I'm going to do the same thing to each one of the other hearts. We will speed that up so you don't have to sit here through that whole thing. Okay, so right here, pretty much done inking them on everything. Got to get some of that glitter out of there. Do it with my nail this time so I don't get it all over my nails. But I'm just using my brush to get some of that glitter out. And just wipe that up off that middle that I created in there. Luckily we went to Tommy's the other day. Now we have all these paper towels. Never been to Tommy's. They sell chili, everything, and they're good, but it's messy. So they give you giant stacks of paper towels. All right, we're gonna get some of that glitter out of here. All right, so if you saw on this one, there was big areas where the white is just showing really good still. And that one, I think I actually have to leave this clamp on just a little bit longer. Might have to reglue that section, but so I just roughed it up a little even more on those edges that had a lot of white. So it looks cuter now. See if I can get that to focus in. It doesn't want to focus for some reason. But you can see here where I just roughed it up like crazy so that it gets a better edge. So there you go. So that's all done. So we got 3 of them done nicely. children in this corner. So there you go. And you can see now they're definitely puffy because they're like kind of sliding around here. So like I said, this was the first one we did, and this one was like more flat puff. These were the other two. This is the one that I kind of more shoved it and stuffed it in there in both of these guys. This one I shoved it in there and had the most. This one had the least, but I still kind of gave it a little more puff. So I do like the shoving in a little bit better because you get more of a pretty puff. And like I said, if at any point you wanted to, you could glue in a ribbon at the same time. Um, Looks like I got all the edges closed back up nicely now. Yeah, all good. So that's it. I hope you like it. If you want to add more things, you can, paint it around, add a little bit more ink on it. Again, all we did was use some paper, cut on the Cricut. Um, and then, I mean, basically any of them, as long as it's about 4 inches wide, I always seems to be a really good size. And then I just use some Distress Oxide on there with some art glitter glue. Have 2 bottles and just some little stamps and stuff, inking it up. Really simple, but they end up coming out really cute. I really love them. And if you wanted to, you could add more glitter or anything like that. Give them a little sparkle. Add a little ribbon, little red ribbon on the top, or pink ribbon would be super cute. Hope you like. Thanks.